Good evening, everybody.
Yes, good evening. You know, we were talking a little bit before the show. Actually, introductions first, then I can give my
Okay.
thoughts about Angel's
Yeah.
Awakening.
Yes. My name is Daniel Parker, and I am the writer and creator of Angel's Awakening, and of course the comic book for the trailer. You just or the
Hmm?
yes the trailer book comic. Bleh. Jeez, I take a week. We take a week off, and I'm
Just completely gone to hell.
just
Sorry,
completely
folks.
yeah. Uh, Guardian Angel, the trailer you saw. Right.
Yes. And I'm DB Fastbinder, author of Confessions of the Magpie Wizard, among other things. But right now, I'm more interested in your story.
Yes.
What really just hit me for the first time was just how much the art in that trailer makes me think of like a grungy 80s comic.
Mhm.
Like something out of heavy, not heavy metal. What's the one that Judge Dredd was from? That British company,
AD, yeah, yeah.
20 AD or
2000
whatever.
AD, 2000
2000
AD.
AD.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I've been trying for a while, and it just clicked right now. Like there's something this makes me think of.
Yeah, it's definitely some similarities there. Yeah. And hey, Ninja Toe, good to see you.
Hey, Ninja.
Yeah. But yeah, we're back. Had a little vacation. We're happy to be here and talking about the news of the day. But of course, first we need to talk about our well, I should probably mention the name of the show, Critique Corner. Um,
Yes. Critique Corner it is a show that you are watching now.
yes. If you're new to the show, one of the things we do is we always start off with our thing of the week. And this is the thing that we've been watching or consuming over the last week and can be just about anything. DB, do you want to start us off with that?
Sure. Actually, uh, I'm going to quote "It's a Gundam," and now it's time for the most important of the program, the part that means something, where we try to sell you something.
Oh, yes.
Let me go ahead and get my screen share going. So, as some of you may know, I have a ridiculous amount of character art. I've decided to put some of that to work on our old friend's Redbubble. As you can see, I have on my back wall here this rose print that came in the mail today. And I have three options available. If you want to just go low key and have a Magpie Wizard t shirt or whatnot, mug, I have a variety of things. Got that. If you want Rose, uh, the blessed angel, or the blessed angel, I was thinking about the trailer, the blessed weather wizard here, got
Yes.
prints, t shirts, mugs, and all those other fine accoutrements. And of course, if you just want a cute girl who's blessed in the chest, we've got Mariko here with the same deal as Rose. Prices
Yes.
vary, waifus indeed.
Yes.
The link will be in the description if you are so inclined. Uh, it seems to be very nice quality. And in fact, I held off on sharing one of these just so you could see. That's a pretty big print for $20.
Yeah. It's
So yeah, if you would like to support my endeavors, that is another way of doing so.
very cool. Yeah, I'll definitely be picking up one of those rose prints.
Uh, Always been your favorite.
Yes.
Uh, so, it turned out that my thing of the week is a movie called Pompo the Cinephile, which it's one of those little serendipitous things. It turned out to be decent timing that you had to show your parents around Disney World last week because this was shown in a very limited number of screenings just on
Oh.
last Wednesday and Thursday. It
Ooh.
was being shown by a group called Fathom Events, who think I've cracked their business model. Is basically their whole business model is built around they figure out when theaters have excess capacity and rent it out for small screenings. There were
Hmm.
like five people there in the theater, but man, I wish there were more because this is actually a really excellent movie.
Yeah, I've done a Fathom Events movie, I think once or twice. I know one of them was the Sword Art Online movie.
Yep,
and
that tracks.
yeah, and I will say that theater was packed when I went to that.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah,
yeah,
unfortunately, this one only had about 5, although it was a
mm,
Thursday night showing, so it's like
yeah,
not too awful, but it's like, that's sad.
yeah.
Um, the numbers.com, who he goes to for our theater counts, doesn't think it's made any money online or in theaters in Japan or America, which we know is blatantly false. Because I know they sold at least 5 tickets somewhere,
Yeah.
2 of them to me and my friend
Yeah.
who, who happened to go. But so Pompo the Cinephile. Uh, it's based on a manga that started on Pixiv, which Pixiv is almost like Japanese Tumblr, more the art side and not the crazy people side. And and so the basic premise is that the guy back here is a first-time director who's been a gopher on a Pompo's schlocky B movies for ages, and he's just been obsessively writing down, oh, here's how you do this, here's how you do that. He wants to make his own movie, and so she writes him a script, and it went a very different direction than I was expecting necessarily. Because I'm going to describe the cast and scenario to you. First time director, script written by a schlocky B movie producer who has never made anything that wasn't like about a giant CGI octopus wrapping around a girl. Um, the world's greatest director or world's greatest actor who has come out of retirement and is very opinionated about how the movie should be done. An actress who has never acted in anything before in her life. I kind of was like hearing this premise, and it kind of sounds like a farce, right?
Yeah.
Like it's going to be about, oh, making this movie is going to be so difficult. But they're wrapping up filming around the halfway mark. I thought to myself, wait a minute, what's going on here? This seems too easy. And it was, because the actual battle of this movie is in the editing bay.
Ah.
It's basically him taking this huge amount of footage, and boy, as a writer who has problems with brevity sometimes and adding too many elements, that that hurt
Yeah.
watching him having to cut all this stuff. Because like he was, his first cut of the movie, it's like, okay, and we meet the lead actress at the 90-minute mark. Crap. And it's just basically about somebody trying to make the story they want to tell, and the trials and tribulations of doing it that you wouldn't necessarily think of as, it's like, oh, movie's filmed, hard part's over. Nope.
Nope.
I'll definitely be picking this up when it comes out on physical release, because I seriously enjoyed myself more than I thought I would.
Mm.
Also, they had a nice bit at the opening where it seems like all these Fathom event anime things. And did they do this for Sword Art, where they had the directors do like a quick talk with the audience about? Because I noticed they did that before when
Yeah.
I saw Promare a few years back.
Yeah, they did that with I can't remember if the director was in there, but I remember the voice actors for Kirito and Asuna were did like a little introduction.
Yeah, it's like so they always like to start their anime movies with that, which is just a nice
Mhm.
little touch. And they were talking about how excited they were for a movie that was set in the United States to be shown in America, and
Mhm.
how and how they couldn't afford to fly out there to look at it because it was a movie based on a webcomic, so it's not exactly the biggest budget, but it
Yeah.
was very well animated. Like,
Hmm.
but so that it's like people from different conventions in the United States went around and took reference photos for them.
Hmm.
So yeah, yeah. So it was just a good time.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, editing the cause and solutions to all creators' problems. Yeah, that's very true.
I resemble that remark. So yeah, Pompo the Cinephile, strong recommend.
File. Cool.
IMDb is giving it 6.8, which proves that IMDb is not perfect.
Yes. All right. So my thing of the week it's a new show on HBO Max called Tokyo Vice, and it's about an American journalist who's in Tokyo, who goes to work for the major newspaper there as a crime reporter, and his name is Jake Edelstein or Edelstein. it's loosely based on, and he's a real guy. It's loosely based on his own experiences in Tokyo, and he's looking into the basically the seedy underbelly of Tokyo. The part that the Japanese probably don't want people to know about or see, or especially not the tourists. Um, and so he's trying to go through and look into the yakuza, and he's very intelligent too. He speaks fluent Japanese, and he teaches himself how to read and write kanji.
which is
uh
not easy.
no, that is not easy. And so he goes to work for the newspaper, and he finds that it's very stifling because he can't write the stories he wants to write about. He writes what they tell him to write, and usually it's verbatim of the police reports that they get. And so he's kind of has to navigate his way through that world.
Mhm.
And the other part of it too, so there are three other characters that the series follows. The other one is, of course, Ken Watanabe's character.
What? What? A Warner Brothers production that needs an Asian actor using Ken Watanabe? Imagine my shock.
Yes. Yeah, the go-to for if you need a male middle-aged Japanese man.
I mean, what was he in? Shark? No, not Sharknado. What was the
uh,
Meg?
the
He was in
Meg, yeah,
Godzilla
God's,
twice. I
yeah,
think he was
yes. He was
just
in,
everywhere.
yeah, he was in Inception. Yeah,
Yeah, that's it. He has a friend at Warner Brothers.
yes. Uh, so he plays a detective, and he's kind of facing the same issues that Jake is facing, where he's having to go through and trying to navigate his the police department, and having to deal with the yakuza, which the way they deal with it is kind of like controlling chaos, where if you have like a one yakuza crime family and another one, you kind of have to like maintain this peaceful order, and try to you know
Gotcha. You don't want to like undercut one too much, or else the rivals will swing up.
right, exactly. And that's kind of what happened is kind of what is happening in this first season, where there's the rival yakuza gang is moving into this other one, and it's going to cause a lot of issues. And so the Watanabe is trying to keep the peace as best he can, and
Mhm.
then he starts working with Jake on trying to figure out what's going on with the two gangs and everything. And then you also have these two other characters. One is an American woman. Her name's Samantha, and she works at a hostess bar that's
Hmm.
under the protection of the one of the yakuza clans. And for those of you who don't know, if you've never been to Japan or you don't know anything about
Or watch enough anime.
or watch enough anime, yeah. In Japan, they have host and hostess bars, and these are places where you can go and you just go and you have a drink. And these in a at a host bar, it's an attractive guy, or at a hostess bar, it's an attractive woman. They sit down and they have a drink with you, and
If
yeah,
their job is to encourage you to keep drinking, to order more snacks, to yeah,
yes,
to keep you happy, uh, like nothing sexual happens, but it's just
yeah,
it, it's like it's like if the girls at Hooters were expected to sit down next to you
yes,
and chat with you for a bit.
yeah, it's yeah. Um, and so Samantha, she's saving up all this money, and because she wants to start her own club.
Mhm.
And of course she has a
I'll start my own hostess club with blackjack and hookers. Wait, forget the hookers.
yeah. Yeah, but but she's of course she's got her own little dark past that's in and I'm 4 episodes it's 8 episodes, I'm halfway through, and her past is catching up to her. And then the fourth character is one of the low members of the Yakuza clan, is this young guy. He's about the same age as Jake, and he's obviously very kind of disillusioned with being in this being in the clan and everything, but he's kind of has to do it because he doesn't have anything else. And they show him throughout the show, like he really likes to cook, and he has a really nice singing voice, because there's a scene in there where he and Jake are in the car, and he starts the Japanese guy, he starts singing Backstreet Boys. Yeah, it takes place in 1999, so that's
Okay,
yeah,
so that was a current song at the time, not.
yeah, it was a current song at the time, yeah. But it's I'm enjoying it so far. It's obviously it's a very dark show. Very it's your typical HBO type crime drama, but I mean I'm liking it. It's it definitely shows a side of Japan that I have never really seen before. Um, and it might make some people think twice about visiting. But I would love to visit Japan one day. Maybe not live there.
Yeah, I want to go at some point.
Yeah, because they do treat him very badly.
Oh no, my hasty tape job on my print is crumbling.
Oh no! Oh no,
Uh,
Rose.
Hang in there, baby.
Yeah.
Well, that's way better than what I thought it was, because it almost sounded like something was clawing through my wall, and that would
Oh yeah, that would not be good.
no.
But yeah, it's because they do treat Jake, rather harshly. Like his boss's boss is
Mhm.
very much uh, uh, Japanese nationalist. If you
Mm,
get my meaning. And of course, he does never calls him by his name. He always calls him Gaijin.
yep.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, if you have HBO Max, you might give this series a give it a look. I wouldn't binge it, because it is some of the subject matter is a little you
Gotcha.
know intense, but yeah, it's a good show.
Okay, I've been resisting the urge to say this the whole time. He keeps either making me think he looks like Andy Sandberg or Matt Smith, and how he manages to look like both at the same time is beyond me. Am
Yeah,
I
he does.
insane?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I can't remember the actor's name, but he was Baby and Baby Driver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah,
S- So that's a
right.
success for Warner Brothers. Let's talk about
Yeah.
uh,
Yes.
man. It occurs to me that most of our stories, or half of our stories today, are Warner Brothers having problems.
Yes.
If it isn't Ezra Miller starting bar fights in Hawaii, or the ongoing Amber Heard Johnny Depp thing, which we are still not going to directly talk about.
No, no, no.
There's a billion other channels for that.
Yes.
Uh, Box office for last weekend. Fantastic Beasts is doing awful.
Yes.
This is supposed to be a major tentpole movie. It made $8 million over the course of the weekend. Um,
It's what's
it
third
was
weekend?
Yeah, and Sonic is in its fourth, and it outdid it by about half again. The Bad Guys was in its second weekend, and it outdid it.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Northman is also eating it, but yeah, that's actually apparently a good movie. But
Yeah. It's
uh,
it's yeah, kind of a niche movie, I think.
yeah, but Fantastic Beasts, like this is a big Warner Brothers tentpole movie, and I
Hmm.
said to myself, yeah, $79 million after 3 weekends. I wonder how that compares to one of the Harry Potter movies. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to compare it to, like, what would be a really unfair comparison would be to choose like one of the Deathly Hallows movies, because that's end of the series, right?
Right, right.
Let's go back to the very first one. I was like, oh, yeah, it's probably made, maybe Harry Potter 1 would make more with inflation. No, Harry Potter's first weekend was 90 million
Oh.
in 2001 dollars, when comic books
Yes.
were 250 instead of being 5.99 or whatever ridiculous price they are now. Like That's no good. We're not going
No.
to get. If you happened to watch Fantastic Beasts and enjoy it, which you'd be the first person I've heard who had that opinion, uh, but good on you. We
Yeah.
believe in diversity of opinion here.
Yes.
Uh, I'm sorry, you're not getting your World War II wizard movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's probably safe to say, yeah, that franchise is DOA.
Like the numbers does their trend line after the first few days, where it usually is within this band. We are noticeably beneath the band. We have been for weeks
Yes.
because nobody's actually excited. And like, oh, well, it's doing okay internationally. No, not really, because a budget of 200 million means it needs to make like 500 million internationally,
Hmm.
and that's actually worse to be heavy international compared to domestic because they make more money per ticket off the United States as a percentage of the budget or the percentage of the gross. So it's
Yeah.
not looking good for Harry Potter.
Nope. I think. Honestly, I think that franchise has run its course. It's and if I were J.K. Rowling, I would just say, okay, I'm a billionaire. I don't need to keep
I,
doing this anymore. Let's stop it.
yeah, I don't need to. I mean, if J.K. Rowling is happy with these movies, I guess as long as Warner Brothers is willing to sink money into them, then good on you, J.K. You're
Yeah.
not, but it's also like if you're doing this because you feel pressured to, you can stop. It it's okay. Let
Yes.
go. Let go.
Yes.
Let
Let
go.
go. Let go.
Uh,
Yeah.
I've actually heard like Comics Perch, a channel I really strongly recommend, was talking about how on his people he know who are in their 30s who have been trying to get their kids into Harry Potter have been having a hard go of it. I think it's because they get too excited to introduce them before they're old enough to really get it.
Hmm.
Like 8-year-olds aren't necessarily like I would say Harry Potter, I might start them off at like 10 or so.
Yeah. It's a yeah 9 or 10. Yeah.
Yeah. That's like,
Yeah.
of course, they're too excited. It's like, I finally have a little person to share Harry Potter with, and they'll love it just like me. And I can nerd out with them about wizardry. And what do you mean you don't like it? I built my whole identity around this stupid series. I use it to make metaphors about my political enemies. I call the president Dumbledore or whatever.
Yes.
Which, to quote the old meme, read other books.
Yes. Yes, there are plenty of other fantastic books to read, especially with the sci-fi or with a sci-fi and a fantasy bent.
Yes. In fact, you go down to your local library, or as we like to call it, fantastic books, and where to find them.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
On a lighter note, wait, that was a terrible transition because
Okay.
Dave Chappelle. Look, Dave would appreciate the joke. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, he would. Yes, he would.
But
Man. Yeah.
oh, Ninja Joe makes a good point. Harry Potter is for the tween years. The Hobbit was made to be read to kids out loud.
Yes.
Yes, that's the proper order.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
Anyways, in lighter news,
Yeah. Later news. Dave Chappelle gets attacked.
yes, he was knocked to the ground by a crazy person.
Mhm.
But apparently, they have decided not to press charges because, quote, after reviewing the evidence, prosecutors determined that while criminal activity occurred, the evidence that, as presented did not constitute felony conduct. Which that's an interesting distinction that I'm not enough of a lawyer to understand.
Yeah, I don't get that either.
It might be that it was like maybe misdemeanor.
Yeah, maybe.
Uh, Now, was the assailant Will Smith? Asked Solely Ninja Toe. Uh,
I
no,
think
because
I think Chris Rock asked the same thing.
uh, no, because Dave Chappelle knows better than to keep his himself out of Will Smith's wife's mouth, or however that goes.
Yeah, oh. Yeah.
Plus, I mean, she would be able to see herself in his reflection. So
Yeah,
it
yeah, that's true.
remind her of the alopecia.
Yes. Oh man.
Man, I am awful tonight. Look, it was a day at work, so
Yeah.
the filter is gone.
Yes.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so yeah, basically he was doing a show at the Hollywood Bowl, which apparently put him at a he is now tied with Monty Python for the most shows at the Hollywood Bowl for a comedian. So that's
Oh
impressive.
wow. Yeah.
And 23-year-old suspect Isaiah Lee rushed the stage and tackled Chapelle to the floor after the show was done.
Mm.
Um, see here. At the time of the attack, Lee was carrying a replica handgun with a knife blade inside, authorities said. I need to sneak a knife into an event.
Yeah.
What kind of fake enclosure could I use? I know, a fake gun. That's the most logical place. No one will look for a weapon there.
Yeah. Not the most forward thinking individual here.
No. Although I mean, look, I'm not saying you should commit assault, but if you're going to commit assault, I say do it with a ridiculous weapon to help your insanity plea defense.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
let's see here. Now Chappelle is saying he's refusing to let the event overshadow his performances. They are. I did hear there were security concerns up till there, and honestly, eh, why did the guy commit the assault? Did Chappelle make a joke about Robert E. Lee? I don't know that I actually heard definitively why he did it. I've heard it's suspected that it was because of his jokes about the trans community
Yeah,
that
that's what
were,
I've heard too. Yeah.
which boy, the best way to make yourself look good and make the community you want to defend look good is to commit assault in their name. That won't
Yeah.
have any blowback.
Yeah. Yeah. That's that. Yeah, that always works in their favor.
Like the Pulse nightclub guy, man, that just improved Islamic and non-Islamic relations for years afterwards.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
That didn't play into any stereotypes, and neither did this.
Oh yeah. Jeez.
But not. I mean, thankfully, it seems like he's okay. I think the guy broke his arm in the process.
Well, I heard Chappelle's security kind of gave,
Okay,
gave him a rough time. Yeah.
which guess what? I think that I think that's right. I did remember hearing somewhere that Chappelle been talking about. Hey, we need more security, and they happened to have more security when they needed it, or else things might not have gone well.
Yeah. Yeah. It could have. Yeah, it could have been a lot worse. Yeah. Yeah. I think this whole situation, and by the way, this isn't the first time a performer, somebody's rushed the stage at a performer, like be it a comedian or a musician. Like
Or
it's happened to musicians a few times.
right, or for that matter, little obscure events like the Oscars.
Yeah, yes, like that. But this sort of thing, like in all seriousness, like this sort of thing should never happen.
No.
It. Yeah, if you're performing on a stage doing something, you should be able to do your job without
Hmm.
fear or be intimidated in any way.
Right. You should be able to go to a college campus and not have activists trying to drown you out with shouting.
Yeah.
You should be able to tell jokes, and it's totally acceptable for people to criticize your jokes,
Hmm.
but violence is not criticism.
No. And it's obviously when something like this happens, my reaction to it is always, this is why we can't have nice things.
Yes. This is why we have to go through layers of security when we go to big public events. This is why, although probably not much if you had a replica gun with a knife inside. That just keeps. I wonder if I misread that.
No, I think you read that right.
A replica handgun with a knife blade inside. That doesn't. That doesn't
Yeah.
that doesn't track.
That makes sense. Yeah, but yeah, hopefully, I think this will, I don't know what the outcome will be. I mean, obviously, like they said, they're not going to press any charges against the guy. Of course, that might mean Chapelle, that might, Chapelle might take some kind of action, or
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah.
Also, here's a comment that I saw somewhere. N-word. I thought that was part of the show. I didn't know what the F.
Oh jeez. Oh, it was Jamie Foxx.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that's the problem. Oh, okay, so this is about also in attendance was Stephanie Walsh, a journalist for ABC. She tweeted that Chris Rock, who performed early in the evening, then came on stage and joked, "Was that Will Smith?" Okay,
Yeah,
that's uh,
yeah.
uh, and that is actually a problem when you're doing a comedy show. You have to make sure that, and it looks like something they did in this case, that everybody knows what is and is not part of the show,
Hmm.
because you
Yeah,
can get in trouble.
yeah, yeah.
Like
It's yeah.
like the guy who created Bebe's Kids apparently died on stage of a massive heart attack. And
Mm.
from what I heard, the help was delayed by several minutes because people thought it was part of the show.
Oh,
Because he's in the middle of the thing, he just flops over. It's
flops
like
over.
awkward, probably awkward laughter and silence as people try to figure out, is this part of the show?
Yeah. Oh
Uh,
boy.
like if I ever become a stand-up comedian, I'm going to just inform. Okay, look, there is no part of my show that involves me making a strange noise and then flopping over.
Flopping over. Yeah. Folks, this is not part of the act. Please call an ambulance.
Yes.
Oh
Uh,
man. But yeah.
okay.
So, moving on.
Let's try this transition again. It will work one of these times. On the lighter
Yes,
side,
on the lighter side. Yes, on the lighter
Batwoman,
side.
Batwoman canceled. I don't know. I mean, if you're as from Heels versus Babyface's bank account, you're probably weeping a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Although, he's probably happy for his own sanity, because
Yeah.
every time you watch one of his reviews, I'm like, okay, is this the one where he's just gonna finally crack and just like,
Is this the one where he breaks?
yes. When
Although,
is this show gonna break him?
yes. Although, go ahead and keep going on. I'm looking up something real quick.
Okay, yeah. Uh, my response to CBR: everything went wrong. Yes, exactly. Everything went wrong. The whole freaking thing was wrong. Yeah. Um, so most of you probably are heard about the Batwoman finally being canceled after 3 seasons, which, in my opinion, was 3 seasons too long. I don't think this show should have ever seen the light of day. But
A Batwoman show could have possibly been made and been good.
they could, yeah, it is possible to make a good Batwoman show, but this was not that. This
No.
show was, it was doomed from the beginning, because, yeah, exactly, yeah. The main actress quit after season one. Yeah, yeah. You lose Ruby Rose after, who was playing Kate Kane, aka Batwoman, in the first season. She quits, and kind of understandable why she quit, because it was a bad show.
And it was apparently not fun to work on. And she hurt herself, and they were like, "Play it off, sucker."
Yeah, yeah, and from what I understand, she was nearly paralyzed. And but it's from the very first trailer, it was just like, the trailer was just so cringe,
Yes.
and when I saw that trailer, I'm like, I am not going to spend a single second watching this show.
Yes. Now, when I was finding this article, I saw some cope on some website like, well, it hasn't been canceled. It just hasn't been renewed yet because they're not renewing any shows right now while Zaslav takes over. It could come back. It could come back. No.
No.
What?
Yeah, yeah. This is a good question. Was it that bad on accident? The suit didn't fit a woman.
Oh.
Yeah, that was just. Yeah, yeah. Part of me wonders if they didn't keep this show going for as long as it did, just to just to anger people,
Just spite.
just out of spite. Like, yeah, we know this show's bad. We know it's cringe, but we're
We're
gonna
losing
keep it
money.
going anyway. Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
here.
and yeah, our ratings can't even, or the amount of people watching the show is about the equivalent to the population of Wyoming, but we don't care.
Yeah, Wyoming lives matter. Um,
Yes.
Although, so here's so I decided to do a little bit of research. I had wondered if the ratings on the show were similar to what Heels versus Babyface was doing towards the end of with his reviews, and the answer is no.
Mm,
Um, but I do believe that there were episodes of EFAP that had higher, like for uh, Batwoman watch-alongs that have accumulated more views over time than they had regular viewers. I know it was under 500,000 towards the end.
yeah, yeah. And you could make the argument that like EFAP and it's an insult. Well, okay, okay. My mother is from Wyoming. I lived in Wyoming for a year and a half. I know what it's like in Wyoming.
Anti-Wyoming, yeah, that's what racists always say. Oh, my mom was this, so I can't be racist. uh, yeah, so speaking of the soft bigotry of low expectations,
Mhm.
the thing with this show is that I don't like to use the word woke on this show, but there's no other word for that trailer, that initial trailer besides woke,
Yeah,
and they doubled down on it with like the the more normal thing would have been to find another redhead, but because it was 2020 at the time, it's like we'll lean into some political stuff and we'll bring this other actress on, and you said that Ruby Rose didn't look LGBT enough. Well, we'll make sure that this one's got the cred. So
yes,
it's like it's like, okay, I could understand if they had hired a straight actress to play Batwoman and people being unhappy about that, but not gay enough.
yeah.
It's like I can't wait for Hollywood to stop listening to Twitter, or for the people on Twitter I don't want Hollywood to listen to leave now that Elon is taking over and go
Yes,
make, I don't know, like Tumblr already ruined Twitter when the people migrated over. Well, where can they ruin next?
yeah, yeah. Ho- Hopefully, Tumblr will let them post their weird stuff again, and
And the problem is there's too much porn in the weird stuff they like to post. That was what really killed Tumblr.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yes.
Not just a black woman, homeless black woman who stole the bat suit.
I noticed a lot of people who would call themselves progressive think of black people as thieves. like,
Yes.
like she stole Batwoman's suit. Riri Williams stole one of Iron Man's suits.
Yeah, it's yeah, 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 like you were saying, for people who claim to be so progressive, they unintentionally make themselves racist. I mean, it's just
Yeah, it's just it's one of those little ironies of life that you just shake your head at and you go, okay, now I know what now I kind of know what the limiting line
yeah,
uh, of what actual racism can look like when you're trying to be unintentional about it.
yeah, yeah. Sort of like with Netflix's Cowboy Bebop.
Hmm.
They had Jet Black in there, and it's one thing to race swap that character, although you have a black man playing a guy whose last name's Black. Um, but
Little on
then
the
yeah,
nose.
little on the nose there. But but on top of that, you make him a deadbeat dad.
Deadbeat single dad.
Deadbeat, yeah, like no,
Which he was not in the comic or the manga or the show, as far as I'm aware.
no, he was not.
Give Spike that storyline if you're going to inflict that storyline on someone in the
Yeah.
past. Uh,
Oh man.
it's like Rebecca Sugar, the maker of Steven Universe, got in trouble when some of her notes. No, not Rebecca Sugar. No, was it Rebecca? Yeah, I don't care what their name is.
Yeah.
I think it was Rebecca Sugar. If I'm wrong, feel free to fact check me. But some of her notes for Steven Universe went online, and one of them was like one of the few characters who was visibly like black had the note unable to read. Like the only character in the whole cast where she made a point that the character was illiterate.
Oh.
It's like,
Oh.
come on.
Ah, jeez.
You know what? I don't think I'm going to read that out loud just because there's some. I've already said some trigger words for the
Yeah,
algorithm.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I hear you. It's like it's a very patriarchal way of looking at different groups, which is very ironic.
Yes.
And the other thing is just like Batwoman was like just illogical and badly written and not good.
Mhm.
And now here's the funny thing is that the low ratings may not have like it may have actually been net profitable, not for the CW, but for Warner Brothers as a whole.
Mm.
Because apparently, according to a Midnight's Edge thing I was watching, a lot of those like CW has not been profitable since what did you say it was? 2007,
2008, I believe.
2008. Okay. Oh, a year better. Okay.
Yeah.
But it was worth it for Warner Brothers because they could sell all of their streaming shows like Heroes of Tomorrow or Legends of
Legends of
Tomorrow
Tomorrow. Yeah.
and Arrow and things like that to all the streaming services and to international TV stations they could license it out there. So on the net it made money, but it was rough. That's been a cursed station ever since it was the WB. Or,
Yeah.
no, not WB. WB merged with it. It was what was that?
UPN.
Yes, back when it was UPN when they were starting Star Trek Voyager after Moesha.
Yes.
Like those are the two audiences: sci-fi nerds, the African American community.
Yes.
It's like, oh, okay, that's an interesting mix there.
Yeah. Then it was Enterprise and then Star Trek Enterprise and then America's Next Top Model.
Yeah, you know, the attempt to muscle in and make another regular non-cable station just didn't seem to work.
No. No.
Fox was the last one who managed to pull it off.
Yeah, and I hopefully this will be the end of the CW. At least, and maybe it will exist in some other form, or maybe they'll.
Some company just bought it off of them. They what did they do? They yeah, who was it? It was some group that runs a whole bunch of affiliate networks around the country bought them. And I have to figure that part of why we're seeing things get the knife is that they're going, hey, yeah, no, we are not going to subsidize your international distribution. No, screw you.
Yes.
We are not a loss leader. We're going to actually figure out how to make money off of this, which I mean, you could do. Like you don't just make cheap things.
Yes. Yeah. Well, RIP as his bank account, but long live
Yeah,
his sanity.
I guarantee you that he's doing Naomi reviews right now. Naomi is not going to last as long as Batwoman.
No. He may have to go back to doing Star Trek Discovery and
Or maybe even go back to his roots and do World of Warcraft streams.
ooh.
Which, oh wait, that just lost a whole bunch of subscribers. But I don't care about World of Warcraft or Activision right now. It's
No.
basically I'm just waiting for the Microsoft sale to happen or to not happen, so I can, yeah, as a console fanboy, rub it in the noses of some PlayStation people who've been very smug for a very long time.
Yeah, that would be really good. I would like to see that. I'd love to see more animated stuff, especially DC animated stuff.
Yeah, that's also how I think they should continue the Snyderverse in animated form.
Mm.
Because that'd be the easiest way, and it'll be a big draw for HBO Max. So
Oh
seems like
yeah,
a winner to me.
yeah, and you can get you may even be able to get the actors to do the voices, and that
Yeah, Ben Affleck, you could probably get into the studio for a voice acting thing.
Yeah, he do it for a week or two, and yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah. Well, on
Speaking of
to
voice acting,
yes,
hey, that was actually a somewhat cromulent one.
yes.
Um, Hololive teamed up with Marvel. Go away, Outlook.
Yes.
I may have ordered. I may have just ordered my post-show dinner. So
Ah, all
anyway, so so Hololive Productions, the biggest VTuber company in Japan, did a paid promotional video for the new Doctor Strange movie. Now, as somebody who has spent an amount of go away, come on, who has spent a certain amount of time in the rabbit hole, I can actually identify these characters. They've picked their big million subscriber peoples like Fubuki and Korone and Miko here and Subaru, and they've paired them up with some of their lesser popular talents here, including some brand new ones. Like that's clever brand synergy. But like, yeah,
yes.
it's like they have the cover here. And they explain the characters and Parmesan cheese with the roasted squid. What? That's an awful combination.
Sounds like something. I'm not. I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah, it's like they now amusingly they got more views for the video where they were promoting ramen curry a few years back, but that's neither here nor there. I haven't watched this, but I did notice it is something they bothered to have English subtitled because they figured that might be an audience that would come in and watch it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. If you're gonna team up with an American company, yeah, and you're gonna have Americans watching it. Yeah. You know.
Yeah. So it seems that we've rendered Holy Ninja Toast speechless.
What?
Did you know about this? I just saw Chloe. I don't have a problem. Hey, Chloe is completely adorable and ridiculous. I can't actually watch her streams because she's a lot in big doses, but yep, with the Orca VTuber here on the front with the kind of
Okay.
cool mask and
Ah,
her
okay.
without the mask. Yeah, so that's and the funny thing is that we aren't the only people rendered kind of speechless by Hololive. Apparently, this was not the first time that Hololive has promoted a Marvel affiliated movie. Because Jared Leto had an interview with Fubuki a few weeks back to promote his failed movie.
This.
And this is a video I'm actually going to have to go back and watch now because according to CBR here, the popular VTuber asked Leto a number of questions about Sony Pictures' latest entry in the Spider-Man Universe franchise, but the actor seemed more interested in discussing Fubuki's character design and outfit. I love your character. It's so cute, Leto said, adding, your outfit is so great too. It almost looks like a Gucci outfit. The method actor and musician briefly discussed how exciting it was to bring the character of Morbius to movie screens for the first time before he once again questioned Fubuki on her appearance and biology. Is that your tail or is it your hair? He asked, to which the virtual host replied that it was both. Wow, the best of both worlds, the Hollywood star plainly responded. You're really such a unique character. It's mesmerizing. Anyway, I forgot the question. Leto apparently only just then remembering that this video was meant to promote his latest movie. So yet another character yet another person who would rather watch Hololive than Morbius and forgot that Morbius happened.
Yes.
Yeah, we do keep finding a way for Morbius to come up, don't we? Don't we, Ninja?
Yes.
Now, I've heard some spoilery things about Doctor Strange that make me not super excited about it.
Oh no! Oh,
Waifu down.
Waifu down. Waifu down. No.
I'll have to find a more secure way of securing her.
Yeah. Oh.
But
you okay, Rose?
she's had worse. I'm a mean author. She's had worse. But I just love that expression here on Fubuki's face. Like, Ninja was like that's one of her default faces, but she just looks so shocked.
Yes. It's Jared Leto. Ah.
Oh, Jared Leto senpai. Oh man, 30 Seconds to Mars to the most. Actually, would it be fair to call him one of the most hated actors in Hollywood at this point?
Probably, I would say pretty close. Yeah, that or
Yeah,
either him or Amber Heard. Oh.
yeah. uh, I mean, and some people hate Chris Pratt, but I don't feel like it's on the same extent.
Yeah, yeah, I would say it's pretty close to one of those two.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so am I. I mean, you can see my little. I had the hand right. You can see my little Kiara print up here.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh,
What a ridiculous week in the news.
yeah.
What a completely ridiculous week.
Yeah. It's the last couple of years have been ridiculous. Like, uh,
I'm sorry. I'm speechless. It's just the like I found this story as as I was looking up things about to look into the show, but I hadn't like done a deep dive into it until this afternoon. And just like it's good production, although with 400,000 views, I do wonder how many tickets it will move. Although I imagine the
yeah,
headline going around to whole life fans, oh, they promoted Doctor Strange. Uh,
yeah,
that just the existence of the show itself might mean more than the actual watching of the show.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it could work. I mean, it's certainly can't hurt to try. As they
Yeah,
say. Um, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see like with Doctor Strange how well that movie does.
yeah. Let's
Yeah,
so it had a $27 million opening weekend. I have heard things from it that so I have not actually watched Spider-Man yet, but from what I understand about Spider-Man, it's very crowd pleasing.
it is.
Like it makes you feel good about having watched these movies for years on end.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, it was a fun movie. Yeah, I actually just bought it on Blu-ray. I need to
Hmm.
probably give it another watch, but it was nice seeing Tobey Maguire again, uh, and Andrew Garfield to an extent.
Right. Andrew did not deserve the movies he got.
No, he didn't. Um, and I will say too, it was really cool seeing. I really liked. I think of the Sam Raimi trilogies, the second one was my favorite, and
Yeah.
I really liked Alfred Molina as Doc Ock, and it was cool seeing him again.
Yep. Now, the reason I bring up that is that, Spider-Man made all its money because, it's Spider-Man, you know, arguably he might actually be the biggest comic book related property at this point. He might have like
Mhm.
Batman and actual comic book sales sells more. They have a ridiculous number of Batman related comics,
Yeah,
but Spider-Man popularity might actually be bigger than Batman popularity at this point.
I
I
think
know that
so. Yeah.
I know there was a time around when the Sony, like first round of Sony movies were coming out that Spider-Man merchandise outsold all of DC combined.
That doesn't surprise me. Yeah.
um, but the reason I bring that up is that from what I watched a spoiler review earlier, just out of morbid
Hmm.
curiosity. Um, it sounds like this is as much this might actually be more of a continuation of Loki and WandaVision than it is a continuation uh, of the Doctor Strange mythos.
Ugh. Oh, why? My impression of JonTron. Why? Why?
Yeah, and that's as and again, that's, some people might consider that a spoiler. Look, I'll the cover was right here. Wanda is right there, right up front and center.
Yeah.
Um, and from what they did, he's even doing the Fubuki Fox thing. But no, that's just him doing his magical gestures.
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but no, it's Steve Ditko likes drawing characters doing these types of motions, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, between him and Spider-Man. Anyway, back up. I got off topic.
Hmm.
Um, it sounds like with what they do with some characters, the, it's you would be extremely disappointed by it because it's their first appearance as part of the MCU.
Mm.
Also, a lot of the rumors that you heard online about who is going to appear in this movie were apparently much more interesting than anything they actually felt like doing.
Ugh.
Like,
Well,
do you
yeah.
think, would it be spoilers to say things that I know for certain don't happen in the movie?
Um. No, go ahead.
Um, okay, this is your chance. If you want to bail, bail. See you
Yes.
next week.
Yes.
We'll be having Miss Rena on to talk about her comic book series, Black Rhapsody.
Yes.
But but in terms of the actual Tom Cruise's Iron Man, not happening.
Mm,
Deadpool, no.
mm.
That like the really interesting things that you imagined them, filming at the last minute to throw in because of the success of Spider Verse, nope.
Mm.
And also the writers were the writers of the Loki TV show.
Which I did not watch.
Look, I
My
watched WandaVision. That's all you're getting out of me for Disney Plus, Marvel. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I watched WandaVision and I watched Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I was disappointed by both of those shows. And I haven't watched any of the other shows because they don't interest me at all. Although I heard Hawkeye was okay.
Hawkeye seems to be the best of them.
Yeah,
My mom and dad really liked that one.
yeah.
Uh,
Um,
they also did a good job apparently of making an unlikable, quote unquote, SJW Marvel character good with their version of what's her name as Hawkeye.
Kate Bishop.
Yeah, Kate Bishop. I wanted to say Kate Barton, but I knew that was wrong.
Yeah,
Uh, but
yeah. Although there is one like little spoiler thing that like I saw I can't remember where it was. It might have been a commercial on YouTube of a pretty big spoiler that I
oh,
don't know if they wanted to drop it.
actually, I guess Daredevil's horns are more.
Yeah. Well, not just that. It's um Sir Patrick Stewart.
Oh, you're
In
talking
a
about Doctor Strange.
Oh, Doctor Strange.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I heard his voice in the trailer. I was like, okay, that sounds kind of interesting. And then I
Yeah.
heard what they actually did with him, and it's like,
Oh.
yeah, yeah. Basically, my bold prediction is that it's going to have a big opening weekend because, like, oh, it's an MCU movie that's about somebody we actually have heard of.
Mm-hmm.
Not Shang-Chi or the Eternals or uh, the Black Widow movie 5 years too late. We
Yeah.
actually have a movie that people are interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, people like Doctor Strange. I think
Yeah.
we're gonna have a nice big opening weekend, and then it's gonna die. Not as much as Morbius, but I think it's gonna make its money back. I think it's gonna be reasonably successful. I think that we're looking at another underperformer for this phase of the MCU.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Well,
Although I will say, I just looked up the runtime. Like I heard rumors that the runtime was like close to 3 hours, but it's a little over two. So
no, which that'll honestly
that's
help because they can
that will
get more
help.
showings
Yes.
in.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
Um,
that was one of the reasons I was very reluctant to see this in the theater. I'm like, I'm not sitting through a 3 hour Doctor Strange movie. Come on.
Yeah. So I'm gonna stake my prediction of where it's gonna end up. I think it will outperform the Batman
Hmm.
just because it's PG-13 and Marvel and shorter.
Hmm.
I think it will not clear $1 billion. We'll see. That's my bold prediction. We'll see how accurate I am. We'll
Yeah.
we'll have a good idea by the second weekend, and we'll report that as it emerges.
Yes. Yes. I think that's a reasonable prediction to make. Yeah. It because if I remember, the first Doctor Strange did well.
Yes, it did well. Actually, let's see here. I didn't take ticket inflation into account. I will say it'll do less than 1.1 billion,
Okay.
just to account for movie inflation. Less than 1.1 billion internationally.
Yeah.
If China is involved, I will say that it will match Captain Marvel.
Mm.
But we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see.
1.1 billion. Staking my prediction now.
All right.
Less than 1.1 billion.
1.1 billion. All right.
Or I should say it will not exceed 1.1 billion.
Yeah. All right. Uh, yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Doctor Strange and see the reactions to it and everything.
Yep. I probably won't see it myself, I'll admit. But that's because I'm busy writing my own stuff, which Holy Ninja Toe, it's an idea that I swear that I had before I knew about Chloe about an orca princess. So you might be interested in that eventually.
Yes.
I actually have intentionally made the character not like Chloe, so we'll see. The curse of knowing about things. It's like, oh, I write similar genre to you. Great, I will never read your stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I think we've covered everything
Yep,
for this week. Thank you everybody for watching. We
yep.
appreciate it. Give it a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. And as DB mentioned, next week we're going to have our very first guest on the show. Miss Serena, of course, the writer and creator of Black Rhapsody. Her book launches on Saturday
Hmm.
on Indiegogo, so you'll want to back that, and we're looking forward to talking to her about that. So
Yes, indeed.
yeah, so but yeah, we'll see you all next week on Critique Corner, and
Hmm.
yeah, good night, everybody.
Good night.